What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Friday Night Smackdown review, and this one was a good one. It really was. This was a good one, especially the main angles was, and then like the main angles really helped the other angles on the show. But uh, they did do a recap about what's to catch you up to speed about what's going on with the whole beef with Solo and the Bloodline and Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. Um, but then we get into the beginning promo, which is Solo and eventually Cody, as you can see from the picture. But or maybe not, because it depends on what picture I use. I might use a picture with Solo or Cody. Anyway, uh, Solo is it. We see a black SUV pull up and the Bloodline get out. Paul Heyman is waiting. It's everybody. It's everybody minus Jacob Fatu. Uh, it's Solo, Tamatonga, Tonga Loa. Um, they get out and Paul Heyman's like, "What? I'm trying to be your wise man. So I need to know what are we doing and where's Jacob Fatu?" And Solo acknowledges that what Paul Heyman is saying. He like, look, I understand you're trying to be my wise man. I understand, so as my wise man, I take your counsel. Jacob Fatu is not here because you said he's too dangerous, so he's not here tonight. So you don't got to worry about it. And let's go and do this ceremony. So as we get the straight out from the beginning of the show, we get the shot from following the people from the back to the front to the out to the ring. By the way, this is in Madison Square Garden for anyone wondering. And it's also Kayla Braxton's final WWE appearance, as she's basically retiring from WWE after this Madison Square Garden event. But yeah, so they get out, they do Solo's music hit, they get out, and Solo now is about to walk toward the ring, but then they nose on how in the arena they always got that up in the sky Titantron, and he sees he sees another SUV pull up, and then Paul Heyman is screaming at him to look at the LED monitor behind him, and he turns to look, and there's another SUV that pulls up right behind theirs, and it's Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, and they're coming. So he's telling Tongaloa and Tamatonga to get ready, and they getting ready. Paul Heyman gets out the way. They come straight through the, just like how they did, and they just brawl. They brawl. They fight. I mean, they split up like Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes like fought towards the ring, while Tonga Loa and Kevin Owens, they fought like in the crowd. Yeah, Tamatonga and Randy and Solo and Cody, they fought towards the ring. Kevin Owens had a wicked he did a swan time on Tonga Loa through the table. Randy Orton took Tonga out with dropping his back on the barricade, and they have just beat down on Solo and knocked him out of the ring. But Nick Aldis came with security. They would beat up security because eventually they kept trying to get him out the ring, but when they want to come out the ring, and Nick Aldis realized this, Cody Rhodes and them cut a promo basically saying that they don't want to wait until Money in the Bank. They want to settle this right here, right now, tonight. But Nick Aldis says, Nick Aldis basically down there at ringside telling them, nah, we're not doing this tonight. We're not doing this tonight. We're going to do that Money in the Bank. So they basically switched tactics from saying they want to do it tonight to saying that at Money in the Bank, they're going to settle this and put the bloodline down once and for all. The security jumped in the ring because Nick Aldis is basically had enough with this, and he wants them out of the ring So they tried to get him on the ring. They beat up security, and then oh no, they beat up security. Then cut that promo, and then that I forgot. I got it mixed up. They cut the They beat up security. Then cut that promo I just said. Then he came back with police security this time, and Randy Orton just was like, okay, whatever. They calmed down and just left. They left out of the ring and out of their arena. And that was your beginning promo there. Very cool stuff. Love to see it. Yeah, yeah, that that was awesome. Um, okay, I'm finna say I thought it was they did something beforehand. But anyway, we get to the first match of the night, which is Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill versus Candice LeRae. This is one of the qualifying matches for the women's Money in the Bank. This was a good one. Jay looked good. Here. She is steadily coming along. I like that. She looked good here. They basically tried to Tiffany and Candice work together for the most part, tried to overtake her, and but she eventually powered out as a powerhouse she is, and she would beat them down. And then the alliance between Tiffany and Candice, as you would expect, will be short lived, and they will fight each other eventually. Yeah, this was a good one. Jay, just like with Bianca, Jay basically had the upper hand and looked like she was going to win. Well, no, before I get there, at a moment like during the match, Nia Jax will come out. And this will be like this will be during a moment where like Tiffany is getting beat up on, and Nia will come out at ringside. But like soon as she would before she could even get to she got right here at the beginning of ringside, at the end of the ramp, but right at the beginning to where you right to be at the front of the ring, and Bianca Belair will follow suit. And basically Bianca Belair and Nia was at ringside to keep each other from to keep Nia. She was there to watch Nia and make sure Nia didn't interfere, because she didn't want what happened to her happen to Jade. The ironic thing is it still happened to Jade, but it wasn't Nia. Nia and Bianca would get into it because it looked like Nia was going to try to do something to Jade. That's why Nia came out, because when she came out, Jade had the upper hand. And then you notice that the crowd goes a little crazy, and Jade sees something. They saw what Jade's looking at. It was Nia coming out, and then this was the follow up to that, where Jade got knocked to the outside later on in the match, and then Nia would come out. Nia would come to her side like she was going to taunt her and do something, but Bianca would interfere. But that distraction from the referee trying to get Bianca and Nia separated, this would allow Indy Hartwell to take out Jade by just ramming her into the ring post, and then as Nia, not Nia, but Indy will walk away laughing. She would start laughing because she see Bianca had noticed it and chase Bianca. Bianca would chase Indy Hartwell away, but this will allow Tiffany Stratton to get the pinfall on Candice LeRae by hitting the prettiest moonsault, and she has taken one of the spots in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Which, if I'm to say, I'll probably go do the predictions video. Speaking of which, an update here. We should, if everything goes well, we should be doing a predictions video and a live reaction to Money in the Bank for the Wrestling Pit podcast. So there's that. But that's a little update for you. But yeah, Tiffany Stratton would get the victory while hitting the prettiest moonsault, and yeah, she's my pick to win the women's. I think Jay is going to win the men's and Tiffany's going to win the women's. Then we get a backstage promo where Naomi and Bailey talking about the results of the of the match and how annoyed they is with Tiffany winning. And as they talking about Naomi winning because she got a qualifying match later on tonight, and she said that if she tell assures Bailey that if I do win, because Bailey said something about her winning, getting in the qualifying match and then winning Money in the Bank herself. But she said, as I do that, I might have to cash it in on you. Just giving you a heads up. And Bailey like, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And as they joking around, they'll stop, and Blair Davenport will come up taunting them, saying that hi, but laughing at how they having this fake fantasy book and how things are gonna go. And that she said that she tells Bailey to hold on to her championship tight because when she win her qualifying match and win Money in the Bank, she'll be cashing in on her. And Bailey taunts about doing something to her right now, but Naomi, no, I got her. Um, let's see. It was a whole bunch that happened right here. We got Nick Aldis meeting with Mia, who wants a match with Nia Jax, who I think she would get it for next week. The Street Profits want a match with the Bloodline, but they can't get it before I guess because they won the match that tonight, or when you see this Friday, it's gonna be. I think this might be late because I'm filming this late Saturday. So you see the Sunday, but Friday they was like, we want them tonight, but they said, can't do it tonight because they got the ceremony thing. I promise you they have their time for this little ceremony. So they try to get it for next week, but Pretty Deadly will interrupt and basically they were trying to talking about some type of play because they was all there talking about Broadway and all that type of stuff. New York on Broadway and the play, all that type of stuff. So they were trying to do a Broadway play, and they said the Street Profits was like, what? Instead of a Broadway play, how about the Street Profits beat up Pretty Deadly play, and that would get made official for next week. This will be the return of Pretty Deadly for the first time in a minute since they had a match on Smackdown. And then I think we had a Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa promo about what happened. He was basically telling him that about that Randy and them has been removed from the building, and they won't be interfering with what he got going on. And then he reminds Paul Heyman that tonight is a tremendous night for them. This next match is by far the most funniest promotional type match you could ever see. The next match would be, and this is just this is the second match of the night, which is LA Knight versus Logan Paul versus Santos Escobar. This is a Money in the Bank qualifying match. They did note that last year's Money in the Bank, both Logan Paul and LA Knight was in the Money in the Bank match together, but this time they both competing. They competing to see which one of them will be in it this again. The reason why I said this was the most promotional one because remember on Monday Night Raw, Tyrese Hellenberg, the dude for the Indiana Pacers, was ringside, and he had they saw he was on the phone with Logan Paul. Logan Paul, they also had the guy from the New York Knicks, the guy with the dress. I can't remember his name. But when Logan Paul made his entrance, he said he wanted somebody at ringside with him that knows about winning here in Madison Square Garden, and he brings out Tyrese Hallenberg to the ovation of boos, and they even had a stare down between Tyrese Hallenberg and the New York Knicks guy, and it was just funny because I'm like, oh, okay, they said, oh, 'Cause if you don't know, in the NBA playoffs, this past playoffs, the Indiana Pacers put the New York Knicks out of the playoffs in New York in Madison Square Garden. So it was basically that's why the New York crowd was booing, because the last time they see the Indiana Pacers, they was losing and getting put out the playoffs, and they played off into that. I'm like, wow. They paid Tyrese Halliburton hell of money because he was based on two shows, but the match itself was good. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I loved the little interaction with the basketball players. Um, Logan Paul did his thing. Santos did his thing. LA Knight did his thing. Though Logan Paul did try to cheat. He told Tyrese to go to his dude at ringside that got the brass knucks. He would give Tyrese the brass knucks, but the New York Knicks dude who was like sitting at ringside, like he was sitting in the crowd, he would jump over the barricade and stop Tyrese from giving it to Logan Paul by telling him, hey man, you better watch yourself, you better not do that. And this momentary distraction will allow LA Knight to dispatch Logan Paul, and I think he hit he hit Santos with the BFT, and I think he hit Logan Paul. I think he tried to hit Logan Paul with, but Logan Paul tried to roll him up, but he would reverse it. Because Logan Paul tried to roll him up and grab the tights, but LA Knight would do it himself and grab the tights to end the match and get the pinfall, which he did, which he got at least part one of his prediction right. He said he was going to beat Logan Paul twice, and then he was going to beat him to qualify for Money in the Bank, win Money in the Bank, and then I think hopefully he wasn't saying he was going to try to use the Money in the Bank to cash it in on Logan Paul. So I'm like, please don't do that, because that worked so well for whatchamacallit, Austin Theory. Though they did have a little interaction at the end where Tyrese and Logan was going to try to jump LA Knight, and at this point the New York Knicks guy had like left and went back into left throughout the crowd, and then he came back, grabbed a chair, and they would stare down. He would get in the ring with LA, and him and LA would basically scare off Tyrese and Logan Paul. But that was a fun little gimmicky match right there. I like that. I like the little story they was trying to tell with the getting the NBA involved in their little drama soap opera story. That was kind of cool. We got a backstage promo with Apollo Crews and Baron Corbin talking about the Money in the Bank match, and that they both happy that Santos got what was coming to him, that he couldn't win, but they were getting interrupted by Carmelo, and he was basically telling them that when he win Money in the Bank, he was thinking about calling it Melo in the Bank, but they started talking to him about being how cocky he is and stuff. But he would have a comeback with them saying that, I guess basically messing with them, that they didn't get in themselves, and as he would leave, they would just talk about how overconfident he is. Then we'll get the third match, which is like the final match of the night, so you could say it's a co-main event, which is Blair Davenport versus Naomi versus Indy Hartwell. This match was a very good one. But as you know how the first match of the night went, you got to know that this match was predictable as such. Indy Hartwell would get payback when Jay would try to interfere, causing Indy Hartwell. I think she drove Indy Hartwell into the ring post, just like she did her. Indy Hartwell was busted open by the hand too. Somehow she busted her hand open, and I didn't even notice that till that moment. But Naomi would get the victory over by pinning Blair Davenport. But this was a good match. This was an impressive showing for. I might have skimmed over it a lot, but this was an impressive showing for Blair Davenport. I'm looking to see more from her. But Naomi would get the victory here. We got a backstage promo with DIY, basically being interviewed about their opportunity at the the WWE Tag Team Championships, and they would get interrupted by Austin Theory, who would try to confront them about their notions about Grayson Waller. But they would try, but Johnny Gargano would try to talk some sense to him to make him see the light. But Grayson Waller would attack both Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa from behind, with surprisingly um Austin Theory pulling Grayson Waller with, like, he did it in a way where it looked like he didn't want Grayson Waller to do that. He didn't want Grayson Waller to attack Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. And then we'll get the final promo of the night, which is the Bloodline ceremony. And turns out this ceremony is an acknowledgement ceremony. This is to acknowledge Solo Sikoa and the Bloodline. And they're basically saying Solo Sikoa basically, Paul Heyman would start off by trying to, do Paul Heyman, hype it up. But Solo will be like, and he will basically take over. Said he told Madison Square Garden to acknowledge him, and then he will introduce Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu's entrance is fire. I love his entrance. Like, it is awesome. Like, I can't state that enough. It's awesome. Like, I love his entrance. But yeah, we'll get Jacob Fatu. He will come out, and basically one by one, Solo will make all of them come up to acknowledge them until Paul Heyman was left, and he wanted Paul Heyman to acknowledge him as his tribal chief. And they also did. I forgot to throughout a certain point in this show, they did a tribute to Roman Reigns' father, who tragically passed, or not tragically, but passed away. I should say. It's a tragic, but when I say tragically, it's not like something like unexpected happened to him. I just meant to say he, passed away. So they did a little tribute to him. But yeah, so they pull out the little they pull out the leis that usually Paul Heyman gives to Roman Reigns, and he wants Paul Heyman to acknowledge him as the tribal chief by giving him the saying he acknowledged him and giving him the leis. Paul Heyman is shocked by this. He was already shocked by the arrival of Jacob Fatu. Now he's shocked that he was also shocked that Solo would say acknowledge me like he's Roman. Now he want him to, like, it's just all. And Paul Heyman looks disheveled. His beard's unkept. Like, this man look like a mess. And this is just worse. And now he's sitting there. He tells Solo, "I love you. You know I love you." And then he said, "I acknowledge." As the crowd is chanting for Paul Heyman. Now, you had done a good job booking wise when you got the crowd chanting for Paul Heyman to say no. For Paul Heyman, they chanting for Paul Heyman like he's a face. And that's basically what we heard rumorized, that Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman was going to be face going forward now. And he was like, "I acknowledge that you are not my tribal chief." And Solo would get angry, Samoa would spike him, and they would just maul Paul Heyman. And I'm just like, oh my God. And all the while you hear Solo like, "I tried. I loved you. I loved you." He basically just yelling at Paul Heyman. I think Jacob Fatu did like a flying headbutt on him. And then they would do like a shield or bloodline powerbomb, triple powerbomb through the table of Paul Heyman. And they would end the show with Jacob Fatu giving Solo the leis and acknowledging him. This was a good show by far. This was a good show. I loved it. I love it. I love what they're going. I love the stuff they're doing. The matches was okay. There wasn't. I said they was all good. They wasn't great, but it was all good. But the stories that surrounding them, like with the bloodline, made everything much better. So I give it I won't say it's not a 9 out of 10. So I give it an 8 out of 10. Big ups, because I was gonna say a 9, but then I'm like, it wasn't like a 9. So I give it an 8 out of 10. Big ups, but I almost gave it a 9 for that ending with Paul Heyman. But you let me know in the comments down below what you thought, and if you enjoyed my review of this, you hit this button right there for all of my WWE reviews. And if you enjoyed the video so much, you want to support the channel, gonna do hit that like, subscribe, share, hit that notification button, do all those great things because we're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. And as always, hitting one of these videos for more of my amazing content. But I'll get out of here because I got another one, or don't go nowhere because I got another one. I got the review for The Boys coming up after this. Peace.